The president of a small country in the Amazon basin of South America decides to commit his country to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 20% by 2030. Inspired by the Paris Climate Agreement, he establishes a commission to develop a plan. Various approaches are identified and debated, like building new wind farms and switching all government vehicles to alternative fuels. The Ministry of Environment suggests that the government should put in place a new policy to protect the country's forests, which store carbon from the atmosphere. Deforestation is a top source of greenhouse gas emissions in the country. By slowing the rate of deforestation, it is possible to cut his country's CO2 emissions by as much as 4.6 million tons per year, the equivalent of removing up to 970,000 cars off the road for 1 year. Most of the nation's forests are traditional lands of indigenous people, but these lands are not legally recognized as belonging to them. As a result, outsiders have encroached on these lands, cutting the forests to establish farms and pastures. The environmental minister notes that when the land rights of indigenous people are recognized and those rights are protected from outside threats, deforestation rates decline. Healthy forests also regulate the local climate. They act as a sponge, soaking up water in the rainy season and releasing it throughout the year. Forests are also the habitat of endangered monkeys and other wildlife. The Minister of Finance then weighs in. She wants to know if securing indigenous land rights makes sense from an economic perspective. The Environment Minister makes it clear that the cost of ensuring land rights are low, while the benefits of maintaining forests as carbon sinks and avoiding CO2 emissions are high. It can cost as little as $6 per hectare to generate $87 per hectare in these carbon benefits. These returns are much higher when you add in social and other environmental benefits. The cost of sequestering carbon by securing indigenous land is less than $5 per ton of CO2, which is 12 to 18 times cheaper than using carbon capture and storage technologies in coal and gas-fired power plants. Drawing in this analysis, the President and Committee include protecting indigenous land rights as a core strategy to meet the country's climate change commitments. This new plan shows other countries that securing indigenous land rights is a sound and cost-effective strategy to mitigate climate change. Learn more at wri.org/securingrights.